Hello and welcome to the video. I'm Jimmy the Mower and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dewalt Impact Driver. Now then, as you can see, this is a great little tool. Really handy, small and compact. This is actually the Dewalt 18 volt XR brushless motor version. The XR stands for extra runtime and the brushless motor means that there's less contact and less drag and friction when it's running, which means it should last longer. The actual model number itself, if we turn it round and have a look on here, is the DCF787. Okay, now it's always important to make a note of these numbers because you have an extended guarantee and warranty, and you can download the app, put in the details on here along with your receipt, and they're all logged on their main database. If you have any problems, they can sort that out and get it repaired for you. Okay, now back to it being small, compact and light. It really is when there's nothing attached to it, and I buy most of my tools now as bare tools. Basically they just come in a brown box, there's nothing with them, because we bought into the Dewalt system a couple of years ago. We have a lot of things. We have an SDS drill, I don't know, there's a drill driver behind me, they're all around, reciprocating saw, angle grinder, we've got all sorts of bits and pieces, there's loads of stuff. And a big impact wrench as well, the big brother to this one for taking car, truck, lorry wheels on and off. It's a fantastic bit of kit. But when we've bought these things previously, they come with chargers, they come with batteries ranging from 2 amp hour up to about 5 amp hour. That's the middle of the range, sort of 4 amp hour battery here. But once you've got these batteries and chargers, you can just buy bare units. 3 or 4 batteries is enough for anybody really. You put them on charge. The chargers work quite quickly. We've got single chargers, double chargers, and they charge the things up, you know, in a few hours. Basically, you've got 4 batteries. You're never really going to have any problems, are you? So that's how it is. And these batteries, they're universal, no matter what your sort of system you're using or what tool you're using really. As part of this system, they work and they fit together so easily. We just put that on top, slide it forward, hear the click, and that's it, the battery's on. You turn the battery round, or the machine round with the battery on, press that button, and we've got 3 green lights across the back, which means it's charged or nearly charged. Take it apart again, you click this down at the front and pull off. This one's quite well worn. When they're new, there's a bit of resistance in there, so you clip this. I've seen people with other systems from other brands, and when they take these apart, they clip that and the battery literally falls out. So you do want a bit of resistance if you can, but when they've been around for a while, they do sort of free up a little bit. But there you go, it's as easy as that to click in and out. Now, safety aspect, we've got on here a switch in the middle. You can put it to dead on, you'll hear the clicks I think, and it goes across. So click it that way, we're forward driving. Click it the other way, it's reverse driving, or clockwise and anti-clockwise. And if you're balanced enough to get it into the middle, it'll lock the trigger up as well so it doesn't move. Now as you can see, there's a little light on the front, so if you're working in confined space, it's a nice little compact tool. You can get in there, click that, just one click, it doesn't even have to turn, and it'll put the light on so you can see what you're doing. Now that's enough for me waffling on about this. What you want to see is me drive some screws straight into this piece of wood, don't you? So I've got a box on the desk next to me. I'll lift those up and we'll have a go. So before we put some screws in, we need to put in the little bit there. Now these bits, they're in all sorts of sets at the moment. I'm working off an Aldi set that we've got behind us there. That was a special buy at Aldi, and there's a lot of tools on there. I'm not sure how long they'll last, but the reason I bought it is because it's nice and compact. I needed a lot of screwdrivers at the time, and that's full of screwdrivers. But when we look further down, we've got little sockets on the top, and we've got all sorts of different things, PZ2s, etc., which is what I've got on in here. Now, we put this holder in first, and these are for the drill drivers. They've got the hex shaft, but they've got that little slot that fits in there, and that little slot just enables it to move. So we push that in, we don't need to do anything, we just pushed it in, and now it's locked in place. To remove it, we have to pull this forward, and you probably, you hear that click going in, pull this forward. If you pay attention, you might see it just click out a little bit. There you go, shoots out, and then that's free to come out. Okay, so it's a good fitting sort of bit, that is, that there's no real hassle getting it in and out. Just walk straight in, and straight out, so it's nice and easy. Okay, with that in there, you can then put other bits in. As I said, we've got a PZ2 there, which is what these screws are, posi drive number 2, and this little bit just fits into the magnetic holder like so, and that's that. It's as simple as that. Now, to put some screws into a bit of timber. This is a timber I use for all demonstrations, so if you haven't seen any of the other videos on the Dewalt stuff or any other tools, make sure you check out the description or the playlists on my channel. Give me the thumbs up and subscribe if you can, that'd be great, and hit the bell and you get notified of every single video that comes out when it comes out. Right, screws. Single thread wood screw these are, okay, and they've got a rifled shank for close edge driving. So some of the screws, when you're putting them in close to the edge over here, they'll split the wood because they're trying to drive through and they're pushing it apart. With this being a rifled shank, it does minimise that. It doesn't stop it, but it does minimise it. But that doesn't really matter for today's demonstration. I'm just showing you the screws and exactly what they are, right? So I've got some previous holes here from other demos I've done. I won't use those. I shall just put that in, press it down. It's a nice soft piece of pine, so it should just go in quite easily. We'll put that on the top. And then it goes, easy as that. Now, when we screw down into the wood, you hear the motor kick in, right? And it'll spin up like this. Yeah, and it's spinning really fast and it's pushing that screw down. When it starts to feel a little bit of resistance, there's an anvil in there with a spring behind it. And as it starts to feel the resistance, the anvil engages and starts to turn round and gives it some pressure to push it in and out. So as that's pushing in and out, that's driving that screw. It's like the hammer drill, really. It's pushing that down and into there, but not quite severe. So it's a nice sort of steady controlled thing. And then, as you can see, I've buried the screw in there. Now, a lot of the times you're struggling to get screws out, especially when people have put them in like that. They've drilled them in too far. They didn't sort of put a pilot hole in or chamfer it first. They've just put it in. So with this, I can show you. We'll just click it over to reverse like so. It's running backwards, and there you go, straight out. You heard it vibrate to start with, and then it just went through. Now I better turn this piece of wood up the other way, so I'm going to do it with a longer screw to demonstrate it a little bit better. Again, no cheating, there's no holes in there, just straight in. Oh my goodness, I buried that one. It went straight down. There's so much power in these things for a small tool. And there you go, and it comes straight out. Easy as that. We'll drive it in again. I'll do it slowly this time. And you can do it. And the great thing about these tools is they are just basically, they're not on and off. They got like an analog trigger, so the harder you pull the trigger in, the faster it'll go, right? So we've got it down to there. Screw it down, nice and steady, no need to go mad. There you go, really slow and still sunk the screw, going really slow. Look at that, just buried in there, easy. And you can pull it out the same way. The only thing you need to be mindful of when you're doing this is when you're pushing the screw in, because there's so much power in this, you need to have some sort of degree of control. So when you're pushing it in, you understand that, and you stop, because otherwise you will strip the heads off the screws, or you'll strip this bit on the end here. Now, if you're using cheap screws and a good quality bit, you'll strip the screw straight away, and you will struggle to get that back out without a removal tool. If you're using good quality screws and a cheap bit, then you will take all the grooves off the bit, and that will be ruined, and that will go scrap into the bin, and you'll need another one, which you can get boxes of them, but it's not advisable, is it? Just buy a better one to start with, and just take it nice and steady. Now, we put some small screws in. This is a large screw here, right? It's a large screw, and it's quite large, quite thick in diameter. I can give you, actually, it's a 5.0 times 60, so that's the biggest one. So that's the biggest one in this box. So we'll just drive that in. Hopefully I won't go all the way through and ruin my nice engine table underneath. There you go. Easy. Look at that, straight into that wood. No pilot hole, no nothing. It hasn't split, it hasn't caused any damage. I've driven it right the way in. That's if you'd like to drive it all the way in. You don't have to. If you want it to sit flush with the surface, like we can put over here, you just got all the control that you need. And there you go. Absolutely flush. You can't get better than that, can you? What a great tool. Now, driving screws in and out is one thing, but how about when we need to loosen off nuts and bolts? You can use this tool again. We'll have a look at the bits and we'll do something else. Okay then, before we get carried away and change the bit over, let's just show you this. Take this out. Now this is something that's very, very rare in my workshop. I'm going to take this out of here, I'm going to turn round and I'm going to put it back in the holder that it came from. Now that's never happened, so I'm glad it's been caught on video. So there we go. I'm trying to keep this set as sort of close to full as I can, right? Because things don't last long, they don't hang around. Right, now I say we'll use it for something else. We've got some sockets here. This is a 10mm. This is a rear roller off my mower, my large ride-on mower. There's loads of videos on these ride-on mowers, and also taking these rollers apart and stuff. They are a pain. Now, the rollers, they get rusted up, the bearings break down and they need changing. And I have spare sets in my workshop all the time, so we swap them over. Now, what you're supposed to do is take them apart, clean everything up, and then put them back together and you've got a spare set. Well, I've got spare sets and I've used them all, and now I'm left with these ones that have been lying around rusting up for the past 12 months or so. So I need to get these out. Now, we were on about this impact driver before and the anvil and the way it works and oscillates and causes vibration. The problem with rusted nuts and bolts, see, easy for me to say, rusted nuts and bolts, is the rust isn't really on the surface. You can tell that this is rusty, right? But you can't see what's inside, and that bolt goes all the way down through there, and there's likely to be rust in there that's caused by ingress of water and dirt and things in there. So the rust goes down. So before we had impact drivers and impact wrenches and things like that, we used to have a thing called an impact screwdriver or an impact, an impact screwdriver, I think it was, and you could get a different attachment for it. And you had to put that on the end and you had to hit it, right? And that used to cause a bit of vibration going down. Or you used to put a socket on there and you'd try and pull the socket, it wouldn't move, so you'd whack it a few times with a hammer. The problem with that is you start to round these off and deform them. The harder you hit it, the more it becomes deformed, right? And then the socket won't fit on, and then you have a problem to get it off. Then we had the invented the air gun tools. So instead of these nice little impact wrenches, these impact drivers and stuff, we had impact wrenches, large ones. Well, I'll get an impact wrench on there, put it on, boom, and it'll twist off straight away, snap inside. Then you've got to drill it out, you've got to tap it out, it'd take forever. So what you needed was a controlled way of doing it. So people would like tap it, put a bit of release oil down there, undo it, try and undo it, tap it again, leave it to soak, etc, etc. And when these came along, people didn't really use them for this because they thought that you needed to twist that bolt out of there. Well, you don't need to twist it out. What you need to do is break that rust seal that runs down. So you need the vibration from it. So if this is under load, gently and in a controlled manner, it will vibrate and will shake down this shaft. Then you can put your release oil in, which will go down, and then it will release that, and then you can work it again and work it again. And if it's still not great, then you can put a socket on and move it, because you can feel that and you've got that feeling in there. And sometimes it just won't go and it's just going to snap, right? And if it's going to snap, it's going to snap. You can't do a lot about it. But I'm telling you now, since I have had this, it has minimized that happening so much. It is untrue, right? It really has revolutionized stuff. Now, we might be lucky and these might spin straight out. We might not be, and it will have to have a good soak with some release oil. Now, there's all sorts of release oil that you can use. This is the one that we have, Bulldog BDX, lubricate, release, restore and protect, works where others fail. Okay, that's it. No plug, no nothing from them. I'm just saying that's what we use. All right, and that goes on the back and it works for us. But let's see if we can do it. Now I'll put this in reverse. I'll put this on here at the top and we'll go nice and slow. It started to come out. I could see that. I don't know if you could see anything vibrating or moving, but you could hear it, couldn't you? There you go. Wow. And when I said they're rusted inside, they are rusted inside, right? So you can see the shiny bit at the top that was protected where the grease was, and look at the rust that's on the inside. Yeah, that's really filthy. And it's come out easily. And this one, and this one. Goodness me. Right, that's even worse than the one before. Look at that. When I put these back together, by the way, I use new nuts and bolts on there. So they're definitely rusted, and you can see all the rust in there. So it's no fluke. Right, we'll turn it round and we'll try the other end. Well, we turned it round, and you know what? This side's even rustier than the other side. Look, they're real solid in there, and there's a lot of dirt. So hey, we'll give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you know what we've got to do. Just vibrate it for a little while, put some release oil in, and then we can go again. So let's have a little blast and see if it comes off. There you go. That's those two out from the really rusted end. Hey, that was a lot easier than expected, and it went a lot better than expected too. We didn't have to use any release spray. We just got on there, nice controlled method, slow and steady wins the race, eh? And they all came out. But as you can see, they're all rusted up. They're not great, so we'll just throw these away and we'll put some new ones in when we rebuild that. But that's just a quick overview of the Dewalt Brushless Impact Driver. I'm sure there's 100 more uses for this as well. So if there's anything else you'd like to see, just pop it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to demonstrate that for you as well. All the links will be in the description to the tools and stuff. And do remember, give me the thumbs up and subscribe, because it really does mean a lot to me. Thanks for watching. I'm Jimmy the Mower. I'll catch you on the next one.